I'm on a layover, and that means it's time for more 49ers facts and truth, since both of those are severely lacking. We've got a couple all time quotes. One from Tim Kawakami, who said this morning on Twitter, the 49ers discourse is just getting stupider. I'll have to agree with my coworker at the San Francisco Standard. Then Richard Sherman on his podcast said, quote, "You guys are speaking like fans and businesses don't quite work that way," end quote. That reminded me of my Business 101 quote a couple years ago, which ended up aging quite well. We have to think of this in terms of a business, otherwise we'll constantly be wrong, just like the people who thought that Trey Lance would start over Jimmy Garoppolo in 2021. They were wrong. Or the people who thought that Brock Purdy would lose a quarterback battle to Trey Lance in 2023, or the people that thought that Sam Darnold would lose a quarterback battle to Trey Lance in 2023. Darnold actually beat out Lance, Purdy beat out both of them, and the latest flavor of the day is suggesting that somehow the 49ers would be better off going after Sam Darnold after this season, and it's based on so much flawed thinking, but if we're just going to deliver facts, Brock Purdy and Trey Lance were already in the same building for a full season. So the 49ers had a chance to look at both of them side by side, and they clearly determined that Brock Purdy was the better quarterback. And even the numbers this season fleshed that out. Purdy, despite the whole system around him struggling so much, injuries obviously, Kyle Shanahan not with his fastball this year, the 49ers had the lowest separation yardage in the league at the time of throw or at the time of catch or incompletion. He still ranks in the top 10 of QBR. And this is a guy that peaked out at number 1 QBR last year when he was an MVP finalist. Sam Darnold, despite all the success that he's had this season with Minnesota, is number 14 in QBR. So everything has been lined up better for Sam Darnold this year. He's got the best receiver in football available on his team in Justin Jefferson. He's got a great defense, one that the 49ers haven't had for the vast majority of this year. And he still ranks below Brock Purdy in QBR. That being said, I still think that Sam is doing impressive stuff this season. I think that people just are not being factual about Brock Purdy. There is too much bias in this situation. I said today, he might be the only quarterback penalized in perception within both spheres for having weapons and for not having weapons. But thankfully, perception is irrelevant. Incorrect online opinions don't matter. Purdy and the 49ers will follow facts and reality in contract talks. And facts and reality look like this. This is quarterback efficiency through the first 40 games in the QB's career. Notice that the bottom left features guys like Tom Brady and Eli Manning, Hall of Fame type quarterbacks who won multiple Super Bowls. They didn't start their careers out all too hot. X-axis is expected points added per play. Y-axis is percentage of games with an EPA under 0, so negative EPA. So you don't want to be in the bottom left. You want to be in the upper right. And Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes, who we know is an alien, are in the upper right, along with Peyton Manning, Lamar Jackson. I mean, Purdy's had an exceptional start to his career. And it's facts over feelings. Your opinions, your emotionally driven opinions, which are rooted in, like I said, they're rooted in feelings, those do not account for the big picture. And that's why we turn to data. And I've got plenty of tape, and we've broken down the tape showing what Purdy has been able to do over the course of time. Actual factual analysis that takes the big picture into account yields stuff like this. And it's how businesses base their decisions. Like the 49ers and Brock Purdy are going to sit down and they're going to look at his performance throughout his first 3 seasons, and they're going to use that performance as a way to determine how much he'll be compensated moving forward. And they're not going to be distracted by rumors online and by suggestions through the media that they should go back to an option that has already been proven to be inferior in their own building. And I'm talking about Sam Darnold in that situation. Again, history, like very basic history, seems to escape people. And the reason I take this all the way back to Garoppolo and Lance in 2021 is because every single offseason there is a loud minority that is massively incorrect about 49ers happenings, especially at the quarterback position. So in 2021, that was the year that I predicted the 49ers would draft Trey Lance. I also said Jimmy Garoppolo is going to start over Trey Lance. There was a loud minority that said that Trey Lance would start. They were wrong. The 2023 QB battle was another great example of a loud minority being wrong. We saw people thinking that Trey Lance somehow would start over both Purdy and Sam Darnold. The Purdy one was the most comical, obviously, because Brock was coming off the 2022 run where he was really good. But even the notion that Trey Lance should start over Sam Darnold was ridiculous. Anyway, some of the people that were advocating for those incorrect takes of Trey Lance surrounding him are the same ones saying that Sam Darnold all of a sudden now is going to be some kind of better option than Brock Purdy. And they're also incorrectly evaluating what Sam Darnold's market is going to be. They're like, oh yeah, Sam Darnold, the 49ers could get him next year for $30 million per year. I'm sorry, Sam Darnold has proven to be an upper half QB in this league with the rebirth that he actually experienced in San Francisco last season as the backup. You're not going to get him at a $20 to $30 million discount over the top of the market. Sam Darnold's going to be in the 40s if we want to dumb this argument down to APY. Sam Darnold's going to be much, much higher than people anticipate. And I think that Brock Purdy's deal is going to be much, much higher than people anticipate because they're not, or they're just choosing to ignore the big picture. They see the statistics. Purdy is still top 10 in QBR, and they dismiss it. And he's the only quarterback for whom they dismiss that stat. Everybody else, it's legit. But for Brock Purdy, for some reason, it isn't. And then you look at somebody like Sam Darnold, and, well, he was mocked for seeing ghosts before he turned his career around, and now all of a sudden he's not being mocked anymore. Sam Darnold, I guess it's a draftism thing, right? I think if somebody has been drafted highly and they show any sort of competent play, they will be valued higher than a quarterback who was drafted low that has shown essentially only competent play at an almost record rate throughout his first 40 starts. That quarterback like Brock Purdy doesn't get the same benefit of the doubt. Anyway, we are here to talk about things objectively, and the Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy discussion today is yet another example of people unable to deliver objective Purdy analysis. But it doesn't matter because the discussions online are going to be irrelevant. 49ers, as Richard Sherman said, are going to be treating this like a business. You guys are speaking like fans, Richard said, and businesses don't quite work that way. Business 101 lives on. All right, I've got to go board my flight. Talk to you guys soon.